In this video, we're going to talk about dependency injection using constructors. So we don't want our tax report class to be dependent on a concrete implementation. We want it to be dependent on an interface. So I'm going to change the type of this field with our new interface, tax calculator. We should also get rid of this new statement. We don't want our tax report to know anything about this concrete implementation, like it doesn't even exist. So we're going to add a parameter here of type tax calculator and use this to set our field. So we set this.calculator to calculator. This is what we call constructor injection. So we're injecting a dependency, in this case, tax calculator, using the constructor. Now, who's going to inject this? Well, let's go back to our main class. Here we can create an instance of our tax calculator class. So calculator equals new tax calculator 2018. So here we're dealing with a concrete implementation. Let's pass our taxable income here. Now we can create a report object, tax report, and pass or inject this calculator object. So here's the catch. Our tax report doesn't know anything about a concrete implementation. It's only working with an interface. This is what we call programming against interfaces. It's the responsibility of another class, like our main class, to pass or inject these concrete implementations. Now, today we're using tax calculator 2018. Tomorrow we can create another class like tax calculator 2019 and pass this to our tax report. Our tax report doesn't care. It's not affected. Also, if we go back to this concrete implementation and change the code here, for example, if we change 40% to 30%, our tax report is not affected. Yes, the code in this class has to be recompiled, but because the tax report is not dependent on that concrete implementation, it doesn't need to be recompiled. It doesn't need any modifications. So this is loose coupling in action. Now, one thing before we finish this video, back to the main class. The way we have injected this dependency here is what is called poor man's dependency injection. In this simple program, we have only two classes, so we can easily create and inject these dependencies by hand. But in a large application, you might have hundreds of classes, and these classes might have several dependencies. You don't want to create hundreds of objects in your main method and pass them to the constructor of your classes. That's where we use a dependency injection framework. So there are frameworks out there that makes it really easy to pass these dependencies to our classes. Spring is one of the popular ones. Now, how these frameworks work and how we can use them is beyond the scope of this course, and we'll look at that in the future. Next, we're going to look at another approach for dependency injection.